What if I told you that pain, struggle, and fear aren't your enemies? They're the path to greatness. That's what former Navy SEAL and ultra-athlete David Goggins reveals in his no-holds-barred memoir, Can't Hurt Me. I hope you enjoy this quick summary. Now let's dive in. Can't Hurt Me is not your typical motivational book. It's part autobiography, part mental warfare manual. Part by part, Goggins recounts his hellish childhood, his evolution into an elite Navy SEAL, and his insane feats as an ultra-distance runner and cyclist. He pushes his body to the absolute limit, setting records while battling excruciating injuries and seemingly insurmountable odds. But more importantly, he pushes our minds beyond our perceived limitations. When I started reading this book, I thought I knew what to expect. Another story of grit and determination. But what really hit me was the rawness, the honesty, and the brutality of Goggins' approach. He doesn't sugarcoat anything. He lays bare his darkest moments, his biggest failures, and his most painful struggles. And in doing so, he inspires us to do the same. This is a book that will make you confront the ugly parts of yourself, the ones you try to ignore or deny. And that's where the magic happens. You have to go through the fire to come out the other side. So here are 7 brutal lessons from Can't Hurt Me that can help you build a mindset of steel. Before we get into the lessons, allow me to introduce myself. I'm a writer and the founder of AZ BookGenius. My mission is to help you learn and grow by sharing the most important ideas from books and articles in 10 minutes or less. Please subscribe so you don't miss my next video. Lesson 1. Use pain as fuel. Most people try to avoid pain. We take painkillers to numb our physical aches. We escape into distractions to numb our emotional wounds. We stay in relationships too long because the pain of leaving is less than the pain of staying. But according to Goggins, pain is where the real growth happens. As he says, some people embrace the suck and say, "Bring it on." Suffering is the true test of life. When we embrace the pain, when we lean into it and grow through it, that's when we become stronger, tougher, and more resilient. But the moment we try to escape the pain, the moment we run from it, that's when it consumes us. Lesson 2. Callous your mind. When you work with your hands, they get calloused. The more labor, the thicker the hide. Well, it's the same thing with your mind. The more mental labor you put it through, the thicker, tougher, and more calloused it becomes. The more you expose yourself to uncomfortable situations, the more you stretch your mind, the more you put yourself up against hard things and force yourself to perform and think, the tougher your mind becomes. Mental toughness is something you build. It's not something you're born with. Lesson 3. The accountability mirror. We all have a tendency to run from ourselves. We escape into fantasies, into daydreams, into anything that allows us to avoid the harsh reality of who we are. But according to Goggins, the only way to confront our demons is to look at ourselves honestly, to see ourselves clearly. So he bought sticky notes and wrote down everything he hated about himself, everything he needed to improve upon, and stuck those notes on his mirror. Every morning he would wake up and confront himself. He couldn't escape from who he was. He had to acknowledge it, accept it, and then work to change it. Remember, the first step to solving any problem is to admit you have one. Lesson 4. The 40% rule. You know that feeling when you're exhausted and you want to quit? According to Goggins, That's when you're only 40% finished. He says you get to 40% and think you're done, but that's when you begin. Pushing yourself to the point where you question whether you're actually going to survive. That's where the 40% rule comes into play. Whenever you feel like giving up, whenever you feel like you've reached your limit, remember, you're only 40% finished. That's where the real challenge begins. That's where elite performance starts. And that's where you discover what you're truly capable of. So the next time you feel like quitting, ask yourself, am I 40% finished or am I 100% finished? Because trust me, the difference is huge. Lesson 5. Don't negotiate with your mind. Our brain is a powerful organ, but it's also a sneaky one. It'll always try to trick us into taking the easy path, into choosing comfort over challenge, pleasure over pain. And if we're not careful, it'll win. But according to Goggins, we can't negotiate with our minds. We have to take control. We have to override those negative thoughts and choose the hard path, the path that leads to growth, to strength, and to resilience. You don't negotiate with your mind. You tell your mind what to do. You tell your mind that it's wrong, that it's lying, that it's holding you back. And then you do the hard work anyway. Lesson 6. Visualize the battle. We all love to fantasize about success, about achieving our goals, about living our dreams. But according to Goggins, that's not enough. We also have to visualize the battle, the obstacles, the setbacks, the pain, the challenges that stand between us and our goals. Don't just think about winning the fight. Think about being in the fight. Think about the blood, the sweat, the tears, the pain, because that's where the real preparation happens. That's where you learn how to overcome adversity, how to bounce back from setbacks, how to dig deep when you thought you had nothing left. So the next time you visualize your success, don't forget to visualize the battle. Because it's not about how you imagine winning. It's about how you imagine fighting. Lesson 7. Be your own hero. One of the most powerful lessons I learned from this book is that you can't wait for someone to save you. You have to be the person you wish had saved you. That's what Goggins did. He took control of his life, even when no one else believed in him, even when he had every reason to give up. He refused to be a victim. He chose to be a warrior. You have to decide whether you're going to be a victim or a warrior. Are you going to blame others for your problems? Or are you going to take responsibility for your life? Because no one is coming to save you. You have to be your own hero. That's a powerful lesson, especially for those of us who grew up with difficult circumstances, who faced abuse, neglect, or abandonment. We can't wait for someone to come and rescue us. We have to be the heroes of our own stories. We have to be the ones who fight for our dreams, who chase our goals, who break the chains that hold us back. I hope you enjoyed this summary of Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. Let me know in the comments below what you found most helpful. And if you want to continue learning, check out my video on Tim Ferriss's book, The 4-Hour Work Week. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.